Hey, I'm Digital Content Ambassador Abby, and in this video I'm going to be showing you a few things I think are important to know before you come to Lancaster University. Your life shouldn't change too drastically when you come here, but moving out can be a bit confusing at first. When you arrive, you'll be taken to your accommodation. Try not to worry too much about which college you want to live in, and give a good look at all of them online. Some things to consider when choosing your college are how close it is to your subject department, what's located around it, and what kind of social space it has. This can help give you a better feel of what to expect. Different accommodation will have different facilities, which you can find from the university's website, but your room will definitely have a desk, bin, bed, a wardrobe, and some storage. Kitchen facilities are provided, so you won't need to bring your kettle iron or a vacuum, and instead bring your bedding, some cutlery, and some towels. Some other things I recommend bringing are toilet paper, obviously, some easy to cook food for late night studying, and some cooking supplies like pans and plates and stuff like that. When I came to Lancaster, I brought 2 plates, 2 mugs and 2 glasses. This is pretty helpful if you've forgotten your mug in your room, or if you're like me, hoping you'll make a friend who'll drink some tea with you. This worked for me, so maybe you should consider it. Your mail gets delivered to the Porter's Lodge, which each college has, and your laundry can be done at the college laundrette. To do this, you'll have to get a laundry card, which you can get when you're in there, and top it up as you go. I recommend bringing laundry pods for these machines, and don't worry if you've never done laundry in your life, there are some helpful instructions inside. You can track the status of your laundry on the Lancaster app to save you waiting around. Lancaster University is highly inclusive if you're thinking about practicing your religion while you're staying here. Our chaplaincy centre is multi-faith and includes facilities for everybody, including a Muslim prayer room. If you need advice with getting a job, finance issues, mental health, and other things similar to that, you can do that at the base, which is located just next to reception. Campus has a variety of shops, places to eat and drink, as well as banks, a post office, and some places that you can get your hair cut. You can find everything within a short walk from your accommodation, and every college has a bar, where you can eat, drink, and socialise. Campus also has a weekly market where you can find everything from vintage clothes to donuts to eggs laid by local chickens. Campus also has a doctor's surgery and a pharmacy to keep you in good shape while you're here. If you find yourself in Lancaster Town Centre, there's a variety of places to visit. You can typically expect to find everything here that you would normally find in the city centre, with the inclusion of, the castle. Town also includes our student union run club, the Sugar House, if you're into partying, and there's a bus directly there, so you won't need to worry about travelling too much. During the rest of the week, buses are regular in the underpass. If you're thinking about travelling fairly regularly, you may want to consider getting a bus pass. Parking facilities are also available on campus, but you'll have to pay per hour, and the train station is located just in the town centre. You can also bring your bicycle if you'd like, as we have a bunch of different bike sheds on campus to keep you safe. We're just a short train ride away from the Lake District, Manchester and Liverpool if you fancy a day trip. Our sports centre has a lot of different facilities you can use, and spaces to practice your sport are also available on campus. If you take your sport seriously, don't worry, so does Lancaster, with over 35 individual sports clubs and a massive yearly War of the Roses tournament. There are many places to study on campus, but the most popular are the Learning Zone and the library. Our library has 3 floors and private pods available to book for group work. The library's online system makes it easy to locate a book, and it's super simple to check out. If you want to use a computer but don't have one, you can use a public computer in the library, or we offer a laptop loan service using your library card. You'll likely have different types of classes when you come here, but the most common are seminars and lectures. Seminars run kind of like a classroom, while lectures are typically larger and take place in the lecture theatre. You'll have to sign into your class using the Lancaster app, where you can register your attendance using Bluetooth. Oh, and one more thing. There are lots of ducks, and they will try and take your food. Okay, thank you.
Science without nobility is blind. The core of Universitas 11 Maret logo, which is a head-like shape with a flame in its center, is described as wiku. The term wiku is Old Javanese, borrowed from Pali, meaning an educated noble disciple. The flame, or prabha, in the center of Wiku's head represents the brilliance, wisdom, and nobility of the human mind. The flame also symbolizes the light of knowledge that shines and makes a positive and eternal impact on the world and humanity. Universitas 11 Maret, established on March 11, 1976, is one of the leading universities in Indonesia. Its noble goal is to contribute to the development of the nation through education, research, and innovation that benefits society. Universitas 11 Maret has built its vision and strategic plan on becoming an internationally excellent center of development of science, technology, and arts based on the noble values of national culture, focusing on enhancing its specialized subject areas and on developing its capacity to meet world-class standards. Universitas 11 Maret has established 3 centers of excellence in science and technology. The 3 centers are Center of Excellence in Lithium-Ion Battery Technology, Center of Excellence in Fintech, Financial Technology, and Center of Excellence in Javanology that focuses on the study, development, and preservation of Javanese culture. Universitas 11 Maret is located in the city of Surakarta, also known as Solo. Solo is a very comfortable city to live in, where Javanese culture and modern life combine. The life in Solo, which upholds the value of harmony, has prepared Universitas 11 Maret graduates to be future leaders who are tough, creative, friendly, generous, calm, and adaptive. To achieve the vision of Indonesian higher education, freedom to learn, independent campus, Universitas 11 Maret offers a variety of courses on a wide range of subjects conducted by 11 faculties, a vocational school, and a graduate school. Various library services, such as thousands of print books and e-books, access to various international journals, and academic librarian assistants are available to support the teaching and learning process and promote the academic achievement of all students, lecturers, and researchers. With a comfortable learning environment, a green campus, and supported by an integrated information system, Universitas 11 Maret has an academic culture that fosters a global perspective and is prepared for Education 4.0. Active and strong international partnerships and collaborations have become an integral part of the university. International partnerships provide opportunities for student and staff mobility, as well as collaborative research and community service projects. In addition to being a center of excellence, Universitas 11 Maret is home to students from all 34 provinces in Indonesia and 33 countries in the world. This creates a multicultural environment that promotes mutual understanding. Embracing diversity and respecting all cultures makes every student feel recognized and valued.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Suwarna Lavaratina Iren Narson. I come from Madagascar and I study design communication visual. So far, my experiences have been very colorful. On my first semester, I have been through a lot of difficulties, especially with bahasa issue. But luckily, I had the best and understanding lectures ever. They definitely accompany me step by step, so I could be in the same level as my classmates. It's been 5 years that I came and back from this campus, but I've never got tired of it. I've been visiting a lot of big cities in Indonesia. but so far Solo is my favorite one. This city just amazed me by the way it looks, by its people, and especially by the sympathy and friendly way that Solonese people welcome me everywhere I go. I would say that I love living in Solo because I love eating, and food is just everywhere with affordable price, and I would definitely recommend Solo for anyone who wanna come to visit Indonesia. I'm very happy to be a part of this beautiful campus, and I also feel lucky because I could make my studies here, and especially I could meet new people from all around the world. Merci beaucoup, UNS.
My name is Walid Sulaiman Karbous. I'm from Sudan. I feel comfortable during my study in UNS because what I found from the international office, from my classmates, from my lecturer, the environment study, the facilities in campus, everything make me happy and creative during my study in UNS. I'm enjoying my life in Solo. Actually, everything in Solo makes you feel comfortable. The people are very kind. The food is delicious. The prices are cheap. The tourist area around the city, everything makes you feel comfortable in Solo.
My name is Yuzna Mao. I'm from Myanmar. I'm studying Master Program of Public Health in Universitas 11 Maret, Indonesia. Studying in Universitas 11 Maret is enjoyable and it is a good atmosphere to study. I got so many chances to contribute in non-academic activities also, so it improved my knowledge about the social and culture of Indonesia. Of course, I have some difficulties during my study, but there are always some helping hands for me. Here I got experiences, I think, which I could adopt in my country when I came back. Solo is like my second hometown. People in Solo is friendly, polite, and helpful. I feel safe when I live in Solo.
The complexity of the modern world is continuously increasing. We live in an uncertain world where change is rapid and unpredictable. Universities have a pivotal role to play in preparing graduates for jobs that don't exist yet, for technologies that haven't been invented, and for problems that need innovative solutions.
Universitas 11 Maret has three main agendas toward a world-class university. Acceleration in various phases of development is needed by embracing the foundation of UNS, Benteng Pancasila. Therefore, 5 strategic policy pillars were decided.
It is important to understand that flexibility and adaptability are the keys to growth in the rapidly changing 21st century. This is what encouraged Universitas 11 Maret to shift its governance and management to an autonomous public university. With this
Hello everyone, can I have your attention please? Okay, a very warm welcome to all. We will start this sharing session. To keep the quality of the sound functional during the meeting, please mute yourself when you're not sharing. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning and good afternoon everyone. Respectable Chair of IISMA Program, Mr. Rahmat Sriwijaya, PhD, Head of International Office UNS, Mr. Rino Ardia Nugroho, PhD, the honorable speakers, Head of Global Engagement at Lancaster University, Ben Matthews, Study Abroad Officer Emily Chi, and student ambassadors at Lancaster University, and welcome to all distinguished participants. I am Siti Nur Rahmawati, IISMA alumni from Universitas 11 Maret at University of Padua. It gives me a pleasure to be a moderator for the information talk about Lancaster University, study and live in Lancaster as IISMA student. Before proceeding to the main program, I would like to invite Mr. Rino Ardia Nugroho, PhD, to deliver the opening speech. Mr. Rino Ardia Nugroho, the time is yours.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening and good morning to all of the participants here. Today we are from UNS having a session about how to live and study at Lancaster. So it is a start for the IISMA applicants to know more about how to live and the ambience of the Lancaster University. So it is an honor today. We have Pak Rahmat Sriwijaya as the IISMA coordinator, as well as Ben from Lancaster University, Ben Matthews, that will be presenting on how to live and study at Lancaster. So in this wonderful event, if you have any questions, if the students or the potential students will have any questions, just raise to Ben, and then it will give you more and more information. I think that's all from me. I hope it will be a fruitful discussion, and I open this event with Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Back to you, Mbak Moderator.
Thank you for the speech. And now we will have a welcoming speech from the chair of IISMA program, Bapak Rahmat Sriwijaya, PhD. The time is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, moderator. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, Honorable Arino, the head of International Office, Universitas 11 Maret, and distinguished guest speaker from Lancaster University, Mr. Ben Matthew, the head of Global Engagement, and Emily Chi, study abroad officer, student ambassador at Lancaster. I would like thanks to Universitas 11 Maret and also Lancaster University to prepare for this event. I would like to inform you about the progress of the IISMA program. So until now, based on our website, IISMA website, the total visitor ID is 220,000 visitor ID, and the total visit 1,600,000, and the registered student, the students are already registered in our website, 19,000 students, but we still have time to the deadline on 12 April this year. And for register now, we have 50 applicants goes to Lancaster. So we hope we can send many students to Lancaster. Of course, this info session can increase the number of the applicant, not only 50, but we want to 100. So we can select the best student to your university. Next year, Mr. Mate, the minister will send not only 1,100 like this year, but they will send 5,000. So that means the collaboration between Lancaster with Indonesian home university has become very important. So, Pak Rino, so we hope that with this info session awareness, we'll send a student to Lancaster. So because you already the host of the Lancaster, so we hope that many students will come from awareness. So thank you very much again, Pak Ben and your team, and also Dr. Rino Ardian Nugroho, the host this evening. Thank you very much. I will follow the presentation of Ben. Please, moderator, I give you back. Terima kasih.
Thank you so much for the speech. Because we know IISMA is a program providing the opportunity for the bachelor students to study abroad for 1 semester, and it is the part of Campus Merdeka, held by Ministry of Education and Culture. And we are very happy today to have Lancaster University for sharing about study and live in Lancaster as IISMA student. As we know that Lancaster has been one of the host universities for the IISMA program. Ladies and gentlemen, now we already have Ben Matthews as the head of global engagement at Lancaster University. We also have Emily Chi as the study abroad officer and the student ambassador at Lancaster University. Before the presentation begins, let me tell you how the session will run. First, we will have the presentation session. After that, there will be question and answer session and followed by conclusion and closing. And participants may share your questions during the meeting on chat or notify me for a live question. Again, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, now allow me to welcome Ben Matthews to deliver his presentation. Ben Matthews, the time is yours.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but maybe it's better if we have a photo session first then.
Sorry?
The photo session, moderator.
Oh, okay. Now we will have the photo session first. For all the participants, please to open your camera. Okay. 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 Now I will count until 3. 1, 2, 3. Again. 1, 2, 3. Okay, nice. Thank you so much. Now we go on to the presentation from Mr. Ben Matthews. The time is yours.
Good morning from Lancaster University here in the United Kingdom. It's a pleasure to join you all this morning. Thank you for the warm welcome and for the warm words of friendship, both between our institutions, but also between our nations. We at Lancaster University are incredibly proud to have been part of the IISMA programme in its inaugural year, and we're delighted that our participation will continue in the year ahead. So this presentation is an opportunity to share a little of the experience that students participating in IISMA had at Lancaster University in this academic year, and to share with you the opportunity to join Lancaster in the coming academic year. And I know for some on the call, you'll also be considering the IISMA program or other types of mobility in the years ahead. So for some, this will have quite a short horizon, joining us in the coming academic year. And for some, you may be considering your options further ahead. So welcome to you all. Thank you for joining us this morning in the UK. It's a very spring-like clear morning. My background is virtual, but I promise if I could turn the camera, the skies this morning do very much look like this. It was a cold, crisp start to the day. I do have a few slides to share with you all, but I'd be really keen also to make sure there's time for questions. So I shan't dwell too long on the slides, because I think the conversation, us being able to respond to questions is incredibly important. Please let me take a moment to introduce my colleagues. First of all, Emily is on the line. Emily, please allow me to introduce you, or sorry, introduce yourself.
Thank you, Ben. Hello, everyone. My name is Emily Chi, and I'm the Study Abroad Officer within the Global Experiences team. So if you ever think about you might come to Lancaster University in the future, you will be working closely with the Global Experiences team. So I look forward to seeing you soon. And I think we also have in our meeting today is Charlotte Robinson, who is our student ambassador. So Charlotte, would you mind kind of introduce yourself a bit as well?
Hi, I'm Charlotte. I'm a final year law student at Lancaster. I also did a study abroad year last year, so I know how exciting it is to be able to study abroad and live in a different country for the first time. And yeah, I'm here to hopefully answer any questions you have about what it's like to be a student at Lancaster.
Thanks, Emily. Thanks, Charlotte. That's really great. And Charlotte and Emily, we'll come back to you, Charlotte, particularly to hear your experiences of being at Lancaster. So we'll do that during the presentation, because it's one thing me talking about the experience of Lancaster, but I think we also want to hear it directly from Charlotte, who's experiencing it as a student now, and as she mentions, the experience of being internationally mobile, going overseas and gaining those experiences. So look forward to introducing you in a couple of slides time, once I've given a quick introduction of Lancaster. So thank you for Emily and Charlotte for joining us this morning. It's really kind. Emily, if you're willing, if we could start the slides, we can show a little bit of Lancaster. So a warm welcome from the three of us this morning. We are really keen, as I said, to answer your questions. So please do drop anything in the chat, and between us, we will try our best to answer those questions. And also we'll make sure there's time, as I mentioned, to answer any questions as we go through. So we've concluded the welcomes, and just to share a little bit about us at Lancaster, we're ranked top 15 within the UK key league tables, and we're the #1 university in the northwest of England by that measure. What really matters about the league tables for us is that we've got satisfied students. What drives the league tables in the UK is a student satisfaction survey. It's one of the key inputs into a number of the surveys. So we're particularly pleased because being ranked in the top 15 means that the students feel that the courses and their experience at Lancaster is a truly positive one. So that's what really matters. And another thing that we at Lancaster pride ourselves on is being part of an international community. Around 1/3 of our student population and 1/3 of our academic population join us on the Lancaster UK campus from overseas. So they bring, the academic colleagues from around the world bring world-leading research with them, bringing these international perspectives, forming multidisciplinary teams to develop research that positions us as 122 within the Times Higher Global University ranking. So joining Lancaster is an exciting community to join, is a vibrant and international community. Let me tell you, if you haven't already been aware of where Lancaster is in the UK. So we're right in the heart of the United Kingdom, and the map on the next slide just shows you our relation into key UK landmarks. So we're around around 1 hour from Manchester by train, and about 2 hours 20, 2 hours 30 from London. You can see this is a view here from Lancaster. From the top of the hill, you can see out over to the Lake District, and you can also see the castle, which is in the heart of the city. We've now got a university dedicated room there. There are places to relax at the coffee shop, and it's a kind of a real landmark of the city. So let me just talk a little bit about the experience of IISMA students in this academic year. I promised to do that. And here they are, the students that joined us, coming together with members of the clubs and societies. Particularly in this case, the Indonesian Student Society. For us, the experience of students taking part in the IISMA program is incredibly important. You'll be studying for us for 1 semester in our first term, and we're really keen to make sure that you're both part of a community. So we'll have an event that brings everyone together and an orientation, but also an opportunity, of course, to connect and interconnect with students from right around campus in all of the different departments and colleges as well. So let me explain a bit about what we feel is special at Lancaster. I just briefly touched there upon the colleges, and we have 9 colleges across campus. This means that whilst you join Lancaster University overall, you'll also be part of a college, which means that you're part of a smaller community. And many students talk about that being easier to make friends, being easier to connect, and there are social activities that exist. And Charlotte may touch upon some of those experiences in a moment. Our accommodation is on campus and is really of great quality. For many years, we won accolades for our student accommodation. You'll be staying on campus, which means that all of the facilities you could like and need are close by. Charlotte, I wonder, would you like to say a little bit about your experience on campus, the kind of wider student life, colleges and societies?
Yeah, so like Ben said, really, the college system is a really great way of helping you get settled into Lancaster. So you'll be living with other people in your college. And in your first week, or the first kind of the week before term starts, you'll have welcome week activities within your college. And that helps you make friends and introduce you to other people in your building, which is quite nice. So you feel you have a community with the people that you live with. Beyond that, the colleges are a really great way to take part in sports on a social level. So you can play football and netball. I'm not sure if netball is a big thing in Indonesia, but it's kind of like basketball, but with a bit less running. So that's something that you could maybe learn whilst you're at Lancaster. And then living on campus is so convenient. You have everything you need within like a 5-minute walk. There are supermarkets, there are kind of bars and cafes. And it means that whilst you are first getting settled in, you can stay on campus for a few weeks. You have everything that you need. And yeah, it's just really nice to have everything on hand, and you don't have to worry about finding things when you're first getting your bearings in the UK. Yeah, I think like this slide shows we've got pretty much everything. We've got a sports centre, we've got cafes, a post office. And it's just a really nice atmosphere, especially when the weather's nice. There's so many green spaces. You can sit out with your friends. You can have a picnic or a barbecue. And especially when you arrive kind of the end of September, the weather is still pretty dry on some days. So you can definitely get involved in those things. Yeah, I think that's my main experience of like living on campus, just having everything so central. It's really, really nice, actually, especially I live in quite a rural area at home. So it was a real novelty to not have to drive an hour to get to anything.
Thanks so much, Charlotte. And on the next slide, we talk about our global community. And I just wondered if you could tell us a little bit more. I know you studied, you took the opportunity to go overseas to further your study and further your learning. I just wondered if you could tell us a bit about this experience, because I guess many people on this call will be thinking about doing that journey, obviously coming to the UK, but you've experienced it, had a similar experience.
Yeah, so I think it's really great when you're doing a study abroad. there's at Lancaster we have a study abroad society, and that's quite a nice way of meeting other people that are here studying abroad, and they put on like trips and things that so it means that you're kind of put in contact with people that are wanting to travel around the UK or even Europe whilst you're here in Lancaster. And I think having gone abroad, you do find that everybody's really keen to make friends. They want to make those international connections. So it's such a great time to network, both on a social level and on kind of for your careers in the future. I've got contacts now from my year abroad that I've been talking to about future work. So it's something that you can really seize on to make both personal and professional connections. In terms of Lancaster as an international community, I can think even off the top of my head, in my first year flat, there were 8 of us and 3 people were international students. So even just as a home student at Lancaster, I feel that I've had that real opportunity to make international connections. And there's societies, so you can, there's like an Indonesian student society, there are also religious societies, so you can really, as much as you're getting immersed in the community of like Lancaster, you can also still remain like immersed in your home culture too, which I think is really nice to help you settle in.
And Charlotte, we haven't discussed this in detail, but I just wondered, thinking about your experience of going overseas, have you got any kind of tips or suggestions for people thinking about doing it, thinking about preparing? I mean, some people on this call will be thinking about going overseas, well, potentially, September, October time. Others it may be a year or 2 away.
I think the best thing you can possibly do is make sure that like you have all your documents really prepared, like as early as you can possibly get them, your visa, anything else you need, you want that sorted, and you want to have it all. You want to have like a physical copy of it, you want to have an online copy of it. I think that's my top tip, making sure you have all your documents ready. I think other than that, maybe taking a look and having an idea of all the things that you want to do and you want to see whilst you're studying abroad. You don't want to kind of feel like you've missed anything, so just making sure that you can really like optimize the opportunity. And yeah, I think that's it really, just making sure you've got all that paperwork prepared so you can really enjoy your time whilst you're there and make the most of it.
I think that's a really great tip, and yeah, having that preparation, and I guess also sort of building on what you say, making use of the support network. So colleagues on this call, both at IISMA and at the university, would be able to support. So if you've got any questions in terms of the paperwork or application process and so on, we'd be really pleased between us all to support that. So I think that advanced preparation is a really good point, and it's also a good point given the world that we're in now, and moving around internationally is a bit more complicated. The more organised you can be in advance, kind of it simplifies it, and you can relax and enjoy your time. I think that's a really good that's a really good message. So I just wanted to share on a little bit about the research at Lancaster, because of course you'll all be experiencing the teaching opportunity, and we have got a range of modules that are available to you to select, from which to select at Lancaster. But of course our teaching is also underpinned by our research. So I just wanted to share a little bit about that. We have a number of research centres that cut across Lancaster, and our research culture is one very much about collaboration and being cross and interdisciplinary in our approach. So we take big global challenges and form teams from across the university, from different academic disciplines, to come together to solve tough problems. Both teams come in together from across Lancaster, but also internationally. We have partners from across the world, both in our teaching, and of course that's what we're talking about this morning, but also our research. And I wanted to mention that because this is part of our culture, part of our ethos, and that feeds through into the experience that you will all get in terms of teaching. I just want to pick out one example, because there are so many, but one example of a project on the next slide is the Respond OR project. This is led by Lancaster University, the Centre for Transport and Logistics, in partnership with the University of Indonesia and also other partners, really looking about how mathematical models can be used to capture complexity, uncertainty during times of emergency and being able to respond to emergency. So the reason I mentioned this project is because it demonstrates deep connections that we have between our nations, and the fact that we have these teaching connections, which we're talking about, and we're really proud of. We also have deep ongoing research connections, and this is part of, and you all become part of, this interconnected world of higher education. So by participating in international mobility, you also become part of the story of universities around the world connecting, working together, collaborating to solve big, challenging problems or particular issues that have been jointly identified. So thinking about that, this feeds through into the way that we teach, into having interactive teaching opportunities, and by that we mean opportunities to think critically, to explore, to work as groups, to shape, form, challenge your own thinking within the academic environment. So very much this is about research, this is about teaching, this is about an international space where students can come together, learn from one another, and really leave with an academic experience that we think is really quite exciting. So just to give you an idea, we've talked about the colleges. You'll be assigned to a college when you come here to Lancaster, and they're based across Lancaster, so across the Lancaster campus. So there's an opportunity for you to be part of this smaller experience, smaller space that we talk about. We've talked about the range of clubs and societies. So absolutely, this is part of you choosing which academic experience, which modules you'd like to take while you're with us. But we really feel there's an opportunity to fully immerse yourself in sports, clubs, in societies, in college life, and really get that experience that Charlotte was talking about. One other example I'd just quickly like to mention is the fact that we also have this beautiful green campus, and students get involved in what we call Green Lancaster. So part of that is a community allotment that we run, so there's an opportunity to take part in growing spaces, other green initiatives. For us at Lancaster, having a responsibility for the environment that we directly inhabit here on the Hill is important, as well as more broadly thinking about how we as an institution contribute to sustainable development. So you'll see practical projects such as this one, where you can literally get your hands dirty, roll your sleeves up and be involved in growing projects, but you can also experience and make choices to get academic perspectives on that, depending on the modules you select. So really that was a quick run through of the experience at Lancaster. We would absolutely love to welcome you to Lancaster. We were delighted the students that completed IISMA with Lancaster this academic year gave really positive feedback. They really enjoyed their experience. They felt they had a warm welcome, which is exactly how we would hope. We would hope that they experience Lancaster. We do have a range of other opportunities as well. So this morning we're particularly, or this afternoon for you all, we're talking about the IISMA program, but we also have summer schools, short-term 3-week opportunities to take 15 Lancaster credits. So that's another opportunity available. And we also do study abroad as well. So there are different ways to engage with Lancaster. With Lancaster. Just to say, as the borders open up, we're really keen for our students to travel in the other direction. So we're working to open up study abroad opportunities for students coming in your direction as well. So we're really very keen that this is part of a deep two-way opportunity, connecting in teaching, connecting in research, providing you with what we very much hope will be life-changing experiences. I think all of us involved in mobility and supporting study abroad feel really passionate about the difference these experiences can make to people's lives. So we're really keen and excited to welcome you to Lancaster. So thank you for your time, and we'd be delighted to take any questions that you may have.
Okay, thank you very much, sir, for giving us such informative presentation for this part. We will have the Q&A session at last. So now the next is to Emily Shi to deliver her presentation. Sorry, to Emily Shi, the time is yours.
Thank you. I think we've just got one presentation today, and this will be like a sort of like a section for us to take any questions. And if you're curious about, you know, what Ben mentioned and Charlotte mentioned earlier, and want to know more about, we're more than happy to take any questions at the moment.
Yeah, and I wonder, Emily, if you could tell us a bit about, so you obviously support students arriving, so you would be the home department. Global Experiences would be the home department looking after students. So could you tell us a little bit about, if I'm a student arriving to Lancaster, what would that be like, and what kind of welcome would I get?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Ben. So like Charlotte mentioned, apart from the welcome that you get from the college, as an incoming student coming into Lancaster University, what we will do is you will have a dedicated sort of induction period to welcome you into Lancaster University. So there will be a couple of days of sessions where we will take you through sort of like the basic things that you will need while studying in Lancaster. So this might include collecting your visa, so your BRP card, and this could also be, we'll sort of like organize a library tour for you to make you familiarize on how to take books out from the library and how to use our library facilities as well. And there will also be sort of activities with our student ambassador as well. So what they will do is they will show you around campus, but they will also show you around the city centers as well. And if you need, they will also take you to do any sort of essential shoppings that you need as well. And towards the end of that couple days of induction period, what we will also do is that there will also be a welcome meal as well, to kind of not just, you know, not just students from Indonesia. So this could be students from the United States or all sort of students from around the world that are doing exchange program in Lancaster University. So what we would be doing is you get to share a meal. This could be like really local food, and kind of like experience that initial sort of British culture together, and maybe just talk about the first few culture shocks that you get as well. I think that's one of the things that you will get as well, to make sure that you have a community really close to you that can support you in that first few weeks when you're abroad in the different countries, really. So that's sort of like what we will do with you as a sort of like an exchange student at Lancaster University.
Thanks, Emily. That's great. So I think at Lancaster, we really pride and strive for having a warm welcome, helping people settle in when they arrive. So for us, it's really important that we support you, as Emily says, as an incoming study abroad student, that you have the chance to meet other students who are studying abroad as well. I think also importantly to know that there's an office that you can go to. So on campus we have a study abroad office, a global experiences office. So you can obviously connect digitally with them, but also you can call in and go and see somebody. So sometimes you might have questions or you might need some extra support. So there's a team available specially to support study abroad students. So we really want you to get the most of the opportunity. We recognize how exciting it is, but you know, as we heard in that video that was playing just before we started today, and as Emily's mentioned, sometimes you might experience culture shock, or you might have challenges that you need to overcome. I think what we'd like you to know is that we're here to support you through that, and the challenges you may face have more than likely been faced by other students prior prior to you in the past. So we've got experience, and I'd ask, whatever your experience, please do know that we're here to support you, and that's what's important for us, and we think that that's what leads to a really positive experience. So thanks, Emily, for running through that. That was really helpful.
Okay, thank you so much. It's a very interesting conversation. So now it is the time to have discussion with our speakers. So to all the participants, if you have any doubts, question or curiosity, the time is now. You could write your question on the chat box, or you could raise your hand and unmute your audio, please. Okay, while waiting, I have some questions for you. The first one is about the living costs in Lancaster. How is it like? Could you tell us a little bit about it? Thank you.
I think we can share. Do you mean in terms of the costs of accommodation and so on? Well, because for obviously, if you're participating in IISMA program, your fees and accommodation are paid for as part of that. And then after that, of course, there's facilities on campus. So I'm thinking that you're as an IISMA student, your costs would be eating, food, and also transport. So to give you an idea of where we're located, we're 3 miles from the 3 miles from the city. So you'll be living on campus, which means you would potentially get the bus to go into the city. So I think that's quite an affordable way to get back and forth if you wanted to go and explore the city or do some shopping. And then obviously there are shops and food places to eat on campus as well. So I think there's quite a range of there's a range of choices. Certainly in the city, there's a range of different supermarkets to choose from, both international supermarkets to get, well, for what in the UK would be specialist foods, but also there are a range of discount supermarkets as well. So there's quite a choice in terms of how you spend the money that you have available to you to get there. And of course, there's always choice because there are many shops available. So you could spend different levels. So I think there's choice and variety in terms of how you can manage your budget in terms of food and other living costs that wouldn't be covered necessarily through the IISMA grant.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, for the participant who wants to ask any question, you could write it or raise your hand, please. Okay, so maybe I will ask another question about the events for the student in Lancaster. Is there any student club or extracurricular that we can join as an exchange student in Lancaster? Could you tell us more about it? Yeah,
absolutely. Well, the clubs and societies would be available to you as exchange students to join. You're of course joining for one for the first semester, so you might want to consider, obviously, for example, in terms of sports clubs, you'd want to consider which ones you could participate in, because there might be a series of annual matches and so on if you were being particularly competitive. So you might want to consider that. But there's a huge range of clubs and societies that you can join. Charlotte, would you like to mention? I mean, you've got the most recent experience of clubs and societies. Would you like to give a flavour perhaps of what you've joined and maybe what some of your friends have been participating in as well?
I mean, so quickly I can mention some events that happen in that first term. There's a a firework night celebration in November that you can go and watch. There's one on campus and there's also one in town, which is always good fun. Kind of at the end of your time at Lancaster, you'd have the opportunity to attend a winter ball with your college. That's always really nice. You have like a formal 3-course meal and everybody gets dressed up in like nice dresses and suits. So that's quite a good way to close your time at Lancaster. In terms of societies, I have been a member of the equestrian team. I also played women's rugby for a little while. But there are so many different sports and societies, so you'd have the chance to join a society for your subject. So we have, in law, we have the Law Society, and you can take part in kind of academic activities. There's workshops. They'll help you with kind of any essays or assignments you might have in. It's like a good forum where you can talk to people doing the same subject. But there are really societies for kind of every interest. I think there's a baking society. Again, like I mentioned before, there are kind of nationality and like religious societies. I have friends that have done kind of dance and cheerleading. So it really is an opportunity for you guys to get involved maybe in a sport that you might not have the opportunity to do at home. They're all kind of really welcoming to new players, especially the more niche sports. And I know I had a friend in my first year and she was on a semester abroad from Australia, and she took part in hockey, and I know she came to kind of the winter ball to close out her time at Lancaster. So there's definitely a lot you can get involved in. And if you take a look on the Lancaster Student Union website, there's a list of all the different clubs and societies. So you can maybe take a look and get excited for what things you might be able to get involved in.
Okay, thank you so much for the answer. Oh, yeah, Emily, you want to add?
No, I just want to add something on as well. So at Lancaster, so your timetable is slightly different as well in Lancaster. So every Wednesday afternoon, normally you won't have any classes. So this is a time when you can join any sort of societies, sports, events, or even just go into town with your friends as well, sort of like every Wednesday afternoon as well. And some of the students do take this time to kind of like go into the sports center. So our sports center's got like a sort of like a adjustable height swimming pool as well. So they do different sort of events in the swimming pool. So you can do kayak, water polo, kayaking, and also scuba diving as well in the sports center swimming pool. We also have a rock climbing wall in the sports center too. So that's got around 25 different sort of routes that you can sort of like challenge yourself. And then inside the rock climbing wall, there's also a little sort of bouldering cave that you can go into as well. And then recently we've just like got a new development in the sports center. So there's weight room, and then there's also like cardio room that you can also go and make sure that you're fit during your studies as well. And so there's lots of things that you can be involved as a student, as an exchange student, really. So we really recommend you like sort of like once you get into Lancaster, like get involved and go and meet more people on a, most like every Wednesday afternoon as well. And during the weekend, some colleges also arrange day trips as well. So these are just starting to come back because of COVID restriction. So some of the college, they will sort of take students out to different cities around Lancaster. So this could be as far as Edinburgh or Stratford. So that's where Shakespeare is. And then also Whitby. So if you're into like Dracula, that's also somewhere that they will take you as well. So there's lots of things that you can get involved as a student at Lancaster. Cool, thank you.
Thank you. So as the student in Lancaster, we can do so much things besides of studying, and all the activities we can join, you can see at the website. Okay. Okay, we have one question from the chat box. Let me read the question from Sekar Larasati Suryadari. Thank you for the presentation and incitement, Emily. Oh, sorry. And Carlotte, would you mind sharing about how and when exams typically take place at Lancaster? Thank you in advance. Please.
Hello. Sorry, just I'll mute myself there. So in terms of examination and assessment arrangements, they would vary depending on the modules that you take. So for some of the modules, there may be assessments in terms of essays to complete, and they may be completed after you travel back home, depending on whether you decide to leave straight away at the end of term or not. And for other modules, there may be exam assessments. So just to say that you will know at the point that you enroll and select the modules, those modules will also have information in terms of the type of assessment that you will take, and that will be shared with you. So the answer does depend on the modules that you pick.
Okay, thank you so much for the question, for the answer. Now I will invite those who raised his hand to open the microphone. There is one from,
yes, can I launch my question? Okay, but maybe I have many questions, but for the first, I will ask how many students that I serve at Lancaster. Because when I do my test, my sign at Java, I'm from Lombok and I passed the island to come to Java. So I need to know how many people that accept at Lancaster. So I believe myself, I have confidence for coming there. For the second, how can I believe it first? If I don't know how an Indonesian student there feel comfortable at your at Lancaster, because I haven't gotten like some experience from someone there, so I need to listen also from Lancaster and also from UNS. That's all, maybe. Thank you.
thank you for the speakers. You're pleased to answer the questions.
Thank you. Sorry, I've slightly struggled with the connection there. Apologies. Could you just repeat the question just so I understand what?
Yeah, could you repeat the first question?
Okay. I will repeat it. For the first, I only asked how many students that I serve at Lancaster. How many students? So I have come. So when I want to do my sign for coming there, for coming to that to Lancaster, I believe and I have confidence for coming there directly. And I do my sign that's at England, not only online from Indonesia. That for my first question. And also I haven't gotten like experience from someone's experience who have been there, like Indonesian student, and I haven't hear like some information or experience. So I haven't believed. I haven't have confidence for coming there also. So I need to listen from Lancaster or also from UNS for giving me like experience, more information about it. So I will try the best for coming or for applying Lancaster University. Thank you.
So at Lancaster, we have around 13,500 students. So obviously a number of the students, a big portion of students are based on the campus. In terms of, I'm not quite sure if the question about entry requirements, if that's related to the IISMA program, or is that a general question about entry requirements? Obviously, if it's relating to the IISMA program, that will be managed through your home university directly through that application process. And then we're then told via the ministry which students are allocated to Lancaster as a result of that that process. So I hope I'm answering your question correctly, but please to follow up in more detail if that's helpful. So if the question's about how competitive ISMA is, I think that's probably that's probably not necessarily a question for Lancaster. I know it's very competitive and there's a huge amount of demand.
Okay, thank you for Ben for answering this question. So we go on the next question on the chat box from Nisa. Let me read it. If I have planned to do my master in Lancaster, is there any scholarship that provide fully funded from Lancaster University? Please.
In terms of scholarships, what I can do is I'm going to bring our scholarship page up and I'll put it into the chat so you can see all of the scholarships that are available globally for Lancaster. So let me in a moment drop into the chat the web page so you've got all of that information.
Okay. While waiting Ben for dropping the link to the chat box, we will invite the one who raised his hand. William Eddy, please.
Okay, thank you for the chance to asking. Okay, so I'm sorry, Mr. Ben, but I need to know how many living expenses we need to live on the England, because I know the different about the living expenses on Indonesia and the England is pretty high, and I need to know, is there any additional fees that we need to prepare first before we enrolling on this sudden exchange program, or is it fully funded? That's it. Thank you.
So I think there are two questions that you're asking there. One is about one is about the support that the IISMA program provides, and I think that would be best answered directly by the ministry and by UNS. And then also you're asking about the living costs as well. So we've got a table that helps you see what the living costs would be. So I'm going to drop that table into the chat now, so you've got that that information. So if you just click on that link, it gives an idea of the living costs. Hang on, sorry. Forgive me. I've dropped the link in. It's the wrong way around. So I'll fix that and send the right link. Sorry, that's the one for students outbound. Emily, I don't know if you're able to share the costs, the study abroad, the inbound. Sorry, yeah, the inbound. Yeah, right pages. Yeah. So Emily will share that link so you can see the information that we've got available about living costs. And then I think you're also asking what costs are covered through the IISMA program. I don't know if colleagues at UNS or IISMA would like to perhaps address that.
All right, thank you for the answer, sir.
Okay, thank you. Now we go on to the next question from Mefta Rizky. Okay, thank you for the very interesting information, Ben, Emily, and Carlotte. I have some questions. I have an interest about biology and microbiology. Would you mind to tell us about the research and laboratory activity and equipment in Lancaster? And the second question is, for summer course, the credit is earned or not non-credit? Thanks in advance.
Yeah, so I could take that one. So for the biology laboratory facilities, actually, so the university just spent 4.4 million on sort of improving the laboratory space, really. So the laboratory can fit for about 200 students in one go. And there's also a cold room, a cold storage temperature room, and a preparation room, and also a muffle furnace space room as well. And then inside the laboratory, there's also storage space for you to keep your experiment, locker space as well, and as well as sort of like lots of technical equipment that you can use as well as biomedical students. So what I will do is I'll send some links to the picture of our laboratories in the chat box, and then you'll be able to see more of what our laboratory looks like. And for the second question, Ben, would you mind taking the summer course credit?
Was the question, of course, the question there was about whether the summer programs are credit bearing, is that right?
Yes, that's right.
They are. So what we'll do is we'll also drop into the link into the chat box. We'll drop the link into the summer programs. I don't know, Emily, if you're you might get to that web page before me, but if you could drop in that link to our summer programs, they are credit bearing, and that information is available on our website. Again, we'd be pleased to take up take questions.
Okay, thank you. So participants, you could see some links sent in the chat box and open it. You can find some information there. Okay, for the next question from Al, can I apply when I am still active college student from my hometown? Let me answer this question. Okay, so if you want to apply to Lancaster University when you're active in your hometown university, you could apply for IISMA because it is an exchange student scholarship, or you also could apply for the summer courses. But if you want to apply for a full degree, of course you shouldn't be active in your home university. And okay, here you could find many links in the chat box about the information that has been told before. Okay, I guess, is there any question from the participant? Okay, I guess there is no more question. Okay, I guess there is no more question. Before closing it, I would like to invite Mr. Ahmad to close this session.
Okay, thank you, moderator. Thank you very much, Mr. Ben and Emily Chi. Thank you, and also my colleagues, Dr. Rino, and also Miss Carlot. Thank you very much for this. In Indonesia, did now evening session, so I think it's good information for our student to have information about your university, of course. And I believe, Rino, that more students will come to Lancaster from your university. So I will monitor the application from UNS to Lancaster. So I hope many students can apply. But remember, student, we still have time until 12 April. So please prepare yourself, and you still have time to for your English test and other and documents. So in the Tuesday, so we will close at the midnight. So you still have 2 days office to prepare your document. So Pak Rino, thanks again. We are very happy on behalf of IISMA Ministry of National Education. We are very thanks to Universitas Negeri 11 Maret for arranging this Zoom meeting. Of course, we will facilitate for another meeting with another university if you need our help. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ahmad. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the information talk about Lancaster University. I would like to thank all the speakers for their very informative and interesting presentation. Also to Pak Ahmad and Pak Rino who have attended this session, and also all the participants for their very active participation. Finally, applaud the speaker and all of you. Thank you so much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank
Thank you
you,
so much.
Mr. Ben. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Lovely to
Emily.
see you
Thank you,
all.
Carlot. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And
Thank you,
Thank you.
Charlotte. Thanks, Lee.
Terima
Bye.
kasih, Pak
Thanks,
Dimas.
everyone.
Terima kasih. Pak Rino, terima kasih Pak Rino. Pamit, Pak Rino.
Halo, Pak Rahmat.
Oke.
Terima kasih, Pak Rahmat.
Thank you, Mr. Ben. Thank you, Miss Emily.
See you, Ben.